Hey everyone, welcome back. Yesterday we talked about the Flux.2 dev model. In today's video, we are going to talk about the GGUF version. As of right now, we have two versions on Hugging Face page. We have this GGUF-ORG and then we have the GGUF by City96. I've tested both. I'm going to talk about the differences between them. We'll also talk about the quality, the speed that we'll be getting, and whether or not it's worth using. Now, if you need a review of the Flux.2, I released a video yesterday. You can go ahead and check that out. All right, so if we compare the different versions of it, we have Q2 all the way to Q8. Now, if you were to use the GGUF, this is the result you get. Now, Q8 is very good. Q5, Q4, all of that is pretty good. We start to see noticeable differences when it comes to the Q3 and Q2 version. So here you can see that the Q2 is the worst in terms of quality, but it's going to give you the maximum speed when generating images. Now Q3 is kind of in the middle of Q2 and Q4. There are a couple of changes, but most of the thing will be generated correctly. Now, if you have the resources, then you can go for Q4. You can also go for Q5 for that extra detail. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples first. And the first example I have here is the original model compared to the Q2 version. And you can see in terms of quality, we have less quality when it comes to the Q2 version. That is kind of obvious because we are losing precision. And in the original one, we have really nice detail. Even the skin, all of that is really nice. I talk about the original version in yesterday's video, so you can go ahead and check that video in case you have not watched that. And it almost feels like the original version is more of a professional cameraman. They know what they are doing and was able to do a great shot. Whereas this one, it's more of a person taking their smartphone and just taking a picture. Now here's one where I'm comparing the original version with the Q4 version. And again, we have the same pattern that we've seen with the Q2 version. The left side version is more punchy. It has more detail and even the colors, they are more like saturated compared to the right side version. Now comparing the Q4 with the Q2 version is a detailed look. In the Q4 version, we still retain that Flux.2 skin realism as we can see here. But I noticed that in the Q2 version, we are going back to how Flux.1 was. We have this smooth skin, and it almost feels like it's a blend between anime and realistic, more like a semi-realistic version compared to this one, which feels more natural. Now from here on, everything else was generated using Q4. You can do anime style. You can also do these intricate geometry in the background where the person is in front. You can also do stylized. All of that still works. So if you have the ability to use the Q4 version, I'm going to recommend starting with Q4. You're going to get better result, but not everyone will be able to run the model, even Q3. In that case, you can always experiment with Q2. You should be able to get some good results even with Q2. Now, the main issue I have with the quantized version, especially the Q2 and Q4, when it comes to text generation. So here's a Q2 version, and this one just failed completely. It was able to write Flux.2 dev GGUF, but on this side, I wanted to have smaller, faster, but it is any good. And this is what I got. So I can make out that this is smaller, this is faster, but is any good. So we can see that there are spelling mistakes happening. Plus it added some random text in there. When it comes to generating long text, that was one of the highlight of the Flux.2, and both the Q2 and Q4 failed. So the bottom one is Q2, the top one is Q4. Both of them failed to generate the long text. While if we compare this to the original model, we can see that it generated a text. There were no spelling errors. I found out that if you have short text, it will be able to generate it. This is a panel generated by the Q4. I said to generate some kind of dashboard with the text 3 tips for better sleep, and it was able to generate it what I asked it for. Now everything else was basically randomly generated, and these, as you can see, they don't make any sense. I don't even think this is a language. So this goes to what I said yesterday, where the clip text encode is way too literal. Whatever you put in your text will be generated, but if you don't describe the background or some additional settings, it's just going to put some random things in there. All right, so in this one, I'm testing the Q4 with the Q3 version. So this is the Q4, and it looks good at first glance, but there is a spelling error here. It should be but is it any good? Instead it is but is. So even the Q4 can make some spelling errors. Same thing for the Q3. We have the same spelling error, but they are pretty much close. What I found is the Q4 still has that skin detail in there, while Q3 is starting to lose that skin detail, and Q2 pretty much is like this, right? So here's a comparison. So this image here was generated using the full model. Same thing here, and you can see we have a lot of detail on the skin. Same thing for this here. So when it comes to generating these images like this, as long as you are from Q4 onwards, you should be able to get good result. If you are adding text and the text is long, then you may find out that you'll get into some spelling errors or just render error like these here. Otherwise, it should be pretty good to use the Q4. Okay, I will have these 2 links in the description below. We'll take a look at the City96 version first. Go into the repository, click on Files and Versions, and then in here you will see we only have the model as a GGUF version. You can go from Q2 all the way to Q8, and depending on how much resources you have, you can just take a look at the file size and download whichever one you want. The workflow is going to be the same regardless of which one you download. To download, just click on this download button here. All right, next you will go inside your ComfyUI, and you will need to place it inside of models, then go inside of unit and place it here. Using it should be quite simple. Simply go into templates, load the Flux.2 dev workflow. I'm going to disable the reference for now, and we'll go inside the upload models. For the City96 version, you will simply need to replace this load diffusion node. Let's double click and search for GGUF. And we'll select this one, unit loader, and it's the capitalized version of GGUF. Once you add it, we'll connect the model with the basic guider here. And if you've done everything correct, this load diffusion model should get disconnected. You can delete it and just rearrange your workflow. This is all you'll need to do for the City96 version. You can also press R on your keyboard and just make sure you have the models in here. Now everything else works exactly like yesterday's workflow. Now, in case you do not have this GGUF loader, you can go inside the manager, click on custom nodes manager, and then at the top here, search for GGUF and install this Comfy GGUF custom node. On the right here, it should say City96. Once installed, restart your ComfyUI, add it, and you can start generating. All right, next, let's talk about this GGUF-ORG version. In this Hugging Face repo, we have a GGUF version for all 3 components that we'll need. So if we click on Files and Versions here, at the top you will see we have Mistral 3 small, and this one has Q2, Q4, and Q8. Then we go down, we have the Flux model itself, and again we have Q2 until Q8, and we also have the VAE as a GGUF version. Now you will need to download all 3 components, so select whichever version you like. For example, you can go with the Q2, you click on this download, and you can go for the model, you can go for Q4, and then the VAE can be the option that you have. Right now we only have one. You can mix and match these, For example, you can use Q2 for the text encoder and use Q5 for the model, or you can go for Q2 and Q2 depending on the amount of resources you have available. Now, once you have these downloaded, once again, go inside of ComfyUI models, and the model GGUF version will go inside Diffusion models and paste it here. Then the text encoder will go inside the text encoders folder, and the VAE will go inside the VAE folder. All right, back inside of ComfyUI, we'll once again go inside of templates, load the Flux.2 dev workflow. Since you need to modify all three of these, I'm going to recommend selecting everything. You can click on the group itself, right click on select nodes, and then click on create a subgraph or convert selections to subgraph, and then go inside the subgraph by clicking here. And now you will have these three which you'll need to modify. So go inside the manager, custom nodes manager. Once again, search for GGUF, and for this version you will need the GGUF, and the author here is GGUF. So install it. It will say we have a couple of nodes which are conflicted. That's okay. Click on back, click on codes, restart your ComfyUI after installing it, and then once again inside the subgraph we'll double click, look for GGUF and add the GGUF loader. We have this author here. Now this model will connect to the model output here like this, and load diffusion model will get disconnected. You can delete it if you want. Now we'll need to do the same for clip and VAE. So once again, double click, you can search for GGUF VAE loader, add it, and then connect it to the output node, delete original version, select the Flux.2 VAE one, and then we'll need to do the same for the clip. So you can delete it, add GGUF clip loader, connect it like this. The type is going to be Flux.2, and device can be default. Now make sure you are selecting the Mistral from it, and whichever Q version that you have. Now once you have all of these connected, we'll go back to the top level and select the subgraph. Click on this button to unpack everything. And now you should have all three nodes connected. You can just rearrange it. Right click on the node, click on fit group to node, and well, you should be good now. So that's pretty much it when it comes to setting up the workflow. Everything else works exactly the same as the original version. All right. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Some of you was mentioning that you could not run the original version. Now you can try the Q4 version if you have the resources. Otherwise, you can also go for the Q2 version and just check the quality. Thanks for watching until the very end. Have a nice day. Take care. I will see you next time.